Oh, okay. Graybill,
Here.
Reeser,
Here.
Buffington,
Here.
Jackson,
Here.
Alexander, Graves, Shelby.
Here. Petitions from the audience? Hearing none, seeing none. Discuss and possible approve the minutes of the October 23rd, 2023 regular meeting. I don't know if anybody had time to look through the notes and stuff like that or read the minutes. Any questions or discussion on the minutes?
Make a motion, we approve.
Motion been made?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Park Board report, Mr. Frank Powell.
Actually been pretty busy this last month, you know, some time of year, winter ice, shut everything down for the winter. Some last minute mowing, leaf cleanup. We have most of all the framework finally put up, but replaced the pergola at Centennial. We just, seems like we keep running into issue here lately, it's like either generators or the weld, you know, to run the welders and stuff. But, it's put up and broke off. The last week is when we usually do the lights because of the weather, and then we was trying to finish that up. But anyway, we got 90% of the lights up today.
Great.
The lights, cemetery guys, they've been real helpful. They've been busy, but like in between funerals, they've actually been coming over and trimming trees for me. They'll get like 3 or 4 trees one morning, come back a couple days later. We're getting quite a bit of that done. So it's been pretty busy, but we're, you know, of course, we always put back a few I say projects. I mean, that's where we'll stack tables or benches out in the lot, and then for the cold, rainy days or whatever, then that gives us stuff to do, you know, inside when we get bad weather.
How did our trunk or treat at the park, did they go to the park to do it, or did they go sit it?
Honestly, I'm not sure.
I didn't see any.
We were gone.
Did anybody go by there? I did not.
Yeah. If they did do it, I mean, it's clean, didn't, you know.
That's what I was gonna say, when I did find out there was nothing around, so I thought,
Yeah.
well, if they did, they did.
Yeah. Other than that, can't really think of anything. We just been staying busy though.
Pickleball courts.
Well, I mean, we can go ahead and knock.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's just while we're here.
Okay, so everything's done. We're waiting for the guy to come and core drill the holes. I couldn't get it set up until they were painted off, and I called in the day we got the grant, and they told me it's gonna be a couple of weeks. Well, then some weather, and then they got behind. I've received all the equipment, and they are painted off, and he was gonna come and core drill this week. And then what weather we got last week pushed him off, but actually that benefits us too because of the lights and try to finish this shelter. So the 4th, is that Monday or Tuesday, he's supposed to come and, because we want to try to, because he just course drilled through the court. We still have to do the rest ourselves. And so we try to make it to where we can get on it as soon as he does it, because if it rains, or especially if it freezes and then the holes fill up. So anyway, they're supposed to come next week and do that, and then they've all been painted off, and I've received all the equipment.
All the hardware.
So it's just a matter of that. Council approved the
The skate park?
skate park.
Well, great.
Well, thank you. Mayor?
On the city lights, on the Christmas lights, I heard a lot of compliments. One person said, well, why don't they just extend them on east some more?
Well, I said we still got, they've just always been in the main part of Whitaker.
Is that lady still storing them and helping? What's her name?
Yeah, the minute she quits, that's, yeah, no more lights.
Yeah, when she came up here that time, it's been some years ago, and she talks about all she does. I was
As soon
like,
as-
and then she goes by during the evening to check.
Yeah, and like the first
Good
night, like
Lord.
they're coming through, you know, there's a lot of them out, always that first night, cause you're staking them down or banging them in the ground yeah, as soon as budget's approved in August, she'll come and get the first batch, and she takes them to a few at a time to her house and restrings or whatever it is she needs
Wow.
to do. And then, but we got most of them all except for the big ones. That'd be tomorrow, horse carriage, big happy holiday one, then the snowflakes on the lights. But, yeah, pickleball, or the skate park got approved.
So what's our project time on that?
I called him today. Of course, we had to go through that new vendor
Right.
info and all that. He's still saying about a 3-month leeway on the equipment.
So, April,
I've talked to
April-ish.
Buddy. Buddy informed me that he heard there's supposed to be a price increase in January on the concrete, so hopefully we can get it done
Wow,
in this next month. But,
that's awesome to hear. I mean, that's really, really, really.
Yeah, it is.
yeah.
So do we
That's
know
super
if
exciting.
there's like cement underneath the sand?
Well, there is, but either
It's
way,
not
we're going
good.
to pour new. That used to be the old tennis courts years ago.
That's right.
And, so as soon as we get the lights up and the shelter done, we're gonna start
That's a long time.
our part of clearing the sand out and, you know, we'll probably have to remove sections of the fence, cause even a couple of the councilmen mentioned about, you know, leaving the fence up.
Yeah,
But we'll have to take sections of it down while it goes on. But yeah, so,
Then number 9, regarding upcoming projects for the park. So the skate park is one, and then we have, we're gonna do the pickleball court install.
that was all I had budgeted for this year. Next year, hopefully phase 2, you know, phase 2 is only like half as much on the skate park.
What projects do you have that you would like to see, or you feel like we as a board need to start helping in?
Okay, so as for, it's been, we've tried to do it the last couple of years, haven't gotten around to it. You have a overlay the tennis courts
Mhm.
every 2 to 4 years. So the basketball's never been overlaid since we've done those. You know, we've done the same thing to those that code in the blue. So, but that's not, the last time I had it, it was like 10 or 15,000. It wasn't a major deal. But eventually those need to be redone. The big project probably for me, within, if you wanna say like the 5-year deal, would be the trail work. You know, and I think the Main Street, they actually have what's it called, the trail?
Trail Alliance.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but that would be, because it's not just Whitaker, you know,
Yeah.
but that would be the big one probably for me left, that, and then what would be nice would be to start, probably not gonna do it all at once, but to start swapping sand out with different feel under the playground equipment. The toys that we put up, every one of them are handicapped,
Mhm.
it's just, but the sand isn't actually handicap, you know, approved. But the toys are, every one of them toys have, you know, there's sections of the toys that's for that.
I know I kind of put you on the spot, but there's a backstory for why I have that, and I didn't share with anybody else. But Mayor, so you visited another sister city not too far from us, and I was up there today. Do you know that? Did you go by their water park area or their splash pad? It's got a fence all the way around it, completely around their splash pad, and all of their playground area is sectioned off for the smaller children. At some point, I think we need to really look at that and try to put that.
A lot of the parks I've gone to and seen, they're fenced off.
Mhm.
The
I don't
splash
think we do
pad-
ours, but I think there needs to be an area maybe to think about.
Yeah, and it's when Leo was still around, me and him always had discussions of like sectioning off the little kids area itself, but it's just the way the park kinda has always been set up.
True.
There's always just been other things kinda come up, and it's always put put back on the back burner.
Agreed,
Yeah.
and that's why I'm saying for upcoming stuff, and that's something that we as a board can talk about too. What is it that we need to go and petition other, city council and the mayor and say, hey, we want an area that's dedicated for that, because I think as our city grows and industry comes in and stuff like that, and our current, citizens that we have, I think if you look at that, that's gonna become a bigger
'Cause most,
thing to have, and they're gonna want an area to go, hey, we have an area dedicated for this.
east of the
Fence
pond
and
is,
splash pad, keep kids in or keep kids out.
Well, kind of control that, try to keep a little bit of control of both, because that area is, there's a lot of, that's a big area, and we really don't, we do have a sectioned off for parking, but
Those
it's
kids
not
can
the
get out,
greatest.
They can run around.
Exactly.
Especially if they're right
That's
next to
what
the
I was
parking lot.
thinking, yeah.
east of the pond, we have some scattered throughout the park, but east of the pond, all that stuff is for little infants and toddlers. The slides, the swing,
Mhm.
everything, but we have a few scattered out still throughout the park. Like on our 4-bay swings, we always mix in an infant or toddler with that. I'm about to do away with the spring rider toys. They keep breaking. The big kids get on it
Mhm.
and find something different, besides those little spring riders. But yeah, that's but right now, the east of the pond, everything over there that is there is but there's just not much there, just swings and
It'd be nice to dedicate, or get an area, let's dedicate it and figure it out, and that would be nice to have.
I still think it needs to be near the other ones though, because if you have kids with different ages, mom can't
And
go to
maybe
two different
that's,
places at once.
or maybe what we do is just look how our park's set up there, and what can we do differently with, maybe change the flow of where the park is even.
Maybe.
It's just like, for the longest time, and Frank can tell you the story, but before anybody, if y'all was here, we had people that would drive the track in a car.
luckily,
That was before
That's
me.
that's why those pipes are at that, because they would literally drive the track with a car, because they go to the bathroom.
since we've done that and we switched Trader's Day out of the park, and we might catch one randomly, but there for a while, it was being a major issue. People driving on the trail or pulling out we actually had a lady gave my guys a hard time because she pulled out in the park and parked, and they were asking her to move, and she actually, instead of her being, I'm sorry, she chewed on them, it's just, it kind of gets me how people,
Yeah,
For the longest time, when we did the Trader's Day, we moved it over across the street, and, oh God, what are you doing, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, there's way more people over there now than there ever was in the park, and it's all right there, it's all self-contained, and
yeah.
not nearly the trash issues we used to have over there either.
Mm-mm.
Not even a third.
Yeah, I think
tear stuff up.
that was a good deal moving that Trader's Day over.
Wasn't at the time though, it was all,
At the time, it was,
everybody is. Well, that's something I would like to have is, what's our plan? What is a timeline schedule, so we can look as a group and go, for instance, I still think the more we hear about pickleball, if you go anywhere, you can't go to any sporting goods store, retail store, anywhere, they're not selling pickleball stuff, everywhere.
probably one of the higher dollar, if you wanna say projects, it'd probably be, I'm trying to say, within the next, I don't know if it'd be I'm gonna say 5 year. Since the pickleball's getting so big and those bathrooms are they're
Agreed.
operable, the school uses them, but,
I don't
if we're gonna-
disagree.
If they're gonna get used that much, they need some,
And we need parking still, we need to talk about for the park too, because if you got everybody in there at one time, we're struggling for parking.
what they've done is definitely gonna help.
Agreed, but at some point.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, since we're talking about the pond's another big one that needs some major attention. That one might be the most expensive one. Needs dredged out, there's erosion going on underneath the bridge. 10 years, I've been, even when Jimmy was mayor, I've been trying to push for that. And
Do you have an estimated cost, what it would take to get some?
when it goes back to far when they done all that, it's at Third Street, and they redone the spillway and everything on the pond and that bridge. Then they gave me an estimate then of $100,000, because you don't have to redo all the erosion things around it, drain it, dredge it out. And that's coming from the wildlife. That was after we had some that was what I call fish killed, and all those fish died. And they said, people come and put fish in it, and there's wrong kinds of fish you can put in a pond that actually cause damage. And he said, there's lot of kind of fish in there that shouldn't be in there. And I don't know, you're not gonna be able to totally stop people just dumping some fish. But they said, right before I went to the park, Eichelberger cleaned it out, and they said it was, like when the backhoe was down in there, it was deep enough you couldn't hardly see the top. I bet it's, the silt and everything is probably maybe 5 foot deep. But they said because of that and the duck poop and everything else, the bottom of the ponds, it
needs
needs
some more.
cleaned out. And then,
It would be, to me, we just need to put a list together and let's get some numbers to it as, what's a wish list and what's something we really need to start thinking about
Yeah.
getting addressed soon at some point, because I agree, the basketball courts there's always people on them, there's always stuff going on.
yeah, it's, we've got all the lights done, all lights have been swapped to LED now, and
I think since you've got that skate park there, you're only gonna double your traffic to the basketball court.
yeah. The other, that just put in a nutshell, right, just on the spot, that'd be the top few I have.
And that's why I did, I just wanted to hear, kinda get some thought process, so we as a
And all
group-
that's just with Centennial, I don't, because of the way it was set up, an adult theme park, no toys, so I don't really, see a
Maybe
major
that's something we look
project.
at there to do. Maybe we look about putting pickleball courts over there because that's why it was designed for. Maybe that's,
And that's
something
something
to
we'll
think about.
see after we shut this volleyball court down, we'll play that out. If I still get people wanting to watch later, then somewhere we just put up a single nice volleyball with a nice post and just,
is there anywhere around? I don't know of any cities that have one.
well, Collinsville.
Huh?
There's a few.
Yeah.
And it's being swapped out for other things.
Yeah.
I think we could also maybe even think about, Bobby Buck. We've got a lot of open space there. Maybe a pickleball court there or,
Because in the past, over the years, different board members and all that, I've been told in the past, like say Whitaker, for example, everything just west of the pond, I've been told to not put anything there because we need to leave some open space for kids to get out and just play foot, whatever. And it's kind of like Bobby, but if we end up eventually putting something in everything, then there's gonna be no.
Green space.
Every board, it changes, so,
Well, and it's not that to change anything, it's just looking at our demographics that we're seeing and the people coming in. I don't know when's the last time we even had a study on what our demographics are of our city, but I'd be shocked to see what it says, but
Ricky Hayes did one, but he took it with him.
imagine
I
that.
was gonna say, I thought Ricky Hayes
I mean,
did it.
that's what we have. I've talked to the chamber about getting another gap analysis, which is gonna kind of do that same thing, so they're working on that. That comes from the state.
I think it would be interesting to see, and, because, and before we get to the task forces on here, but, doing that study that we did on a swimming pool, I think we would all be shocked what people's true visions are that they're asking or wanting. And I think if we do that, it may be something good for us to do, is just kind of see, what else do you see in our city that you would like to have? Because you're gonna get all kinds of crazy notions, but I think it would be good for us, especially on our part, because we are the outside entertainment that's free, per se. And so I think pickleball courts is gonna become more. I do think we do need, I think personally that the tennis courts we have, they all become pickleball courts, and we start rethinking our tennis courts completely. And maybe we move tennis courts down to
Centennial?
Centennial Park and put them there.
and then you know, if we end up putting our own courts up, you know, we would never need 8. That was,
I don't
Yeah.
think we would either. I
a
think
couple of courts
we
would
could
be
build some
plenty.
really nice
Yeah.
courts.
Yeah, put money in 2 real nice ones or something.
What about the school? Would the school
Well,
let
I
the
think all this
citizens
goes
use
back
it
if
if
the
they put
school
it up?
builds their own,
But would they let the citizens just come and use
I
it
bet
though?
they don't. If they put much, I bet they would make it for their thing only.
They won't let anybody on their softball or baseball fields.
Yeah.
And they won't let anybody on their, I mean, you can walk their track, but I mean, at the end of the day,
Yeah,
Probably liability issue.
yeah.
And those might be indoor
yeah,
tennis courts and pickleball
That the-
courts that they're thinking
they
of.
would do.
But I think it would be good to have that type of, you know, what is our 5-year plan? You know, what is a 5 to 10-year plan? What do we see? What do we need to start talking about funding for? Because even if we decided, you know, a basketball court overlay, I think if we do that, I think you do it. To me, I would think we need to try to start on it this next year, especially if we're building in a skate park. We really need to get that basketball court
Yeah,
done.
it just, the
it's
tennis we
been a
do every
while.
2 or 4 years, but the basketball hasn't been overlaid once since we've done it.
And there's all kinds of updates on that material too.
Buddy, not to speak on his behalf or what, he's had a plan the last couple of years. The creek that goes through by the tennis courts,
Mhm.
it was kinda, you know, them concrete block things.
Mm-hmm.
He says he's actually put money back to the side, and his plan is to come through, dress up that creek and put them, they done it over, is it by Oklahoma Street somewhere? And you-
Short up a little bit.
Yeah, and put these
Really?
blocks, and it dresses things up, makes it easier for our guys to mow, and, cause it'd be and it'd be cosmetic, plus and I don't know where he's at on it, but I know the last year or 2, he's spoke highly about wanting to do it even himself.
Well, I think it'd be good for us to try to get at least a 5-year plan of what we know. And I do think that we need to really, the basketball court needs to be a high priority for our list of getting done. And what's the cost gonna be on it? Because with what we're doing for the skate park, you're only adding more people that's gonna use that area.
And just a quick thing to throw out there, in the last month or 2, I mean, I always have people donate one here or there, but I've had quite a few trees donated. So we could always use trees. I mean, we got several that's, I think more that's going to probably come out, so. If you know anybody and they're looking for, you know, wanting to donate a tree,
Send them
you
your
know,
way.
we,
Send them your way.
yeah, Gus,
Mm-hmm.
he donated like 5, and
Well, that's nice of them.
most of the time, people do it in memory of somebody, and they put the little stones down, and, you know, they'll come to me, and they'll have an idea, but then we'll walk the parks out and kind of compromise of where they go. But usually oak, maple, or red buds is what we
Prefer.
shoot for, you know, no Bradford pears. But either way, yeah, so if you know anybody, you know, we're always welcome to some more trees. We even thought about around the tennis courts just for,
Shade.
you know, cosmetic, you know. That one in the corner, I think that was the first tree Leo and I planted, and it finally, we had to take it out about a month ago. The one's up by Park and Elliott.
Wow.
But
Well, I appreciate it, Frank. Anybody got any other questions for Frank while he's up here, or comments that we can talk about that?
No,
everybody
I'm
in
sure
agreeance?
that,
Good conversation though, yes.
yeah, I'm sure that it'll probably change, but is there a way to get kind of an idea of what it would cost to refinish?
the
the
basketball,
Mhm,
the
just-
last time I had it bid, couple year budgeted, it was about 15,000. That was through Hensel, the ones that overlaid they're the ones that done it the first time, and they're the company that we used first on the tennis court. This last time was Merritt. They were a lot more expensive than Hensel. Hensel didn't bid because he said COVID hit him hard and he got behind and he was short-handed. And so Merritt, they were a lot more expensive, but I think they actually done a little better job filling in what they call the bird bass, the low spots and stuff. So the last time I had it budgeted, it was 15,000 through Hensel. So with Merritt, if we, you know, I mean, of course I'll try to bid it out, but usually on those, there's not too many companies that.
It'd be nice to see what the
go
number is, cause I bet we could probably do some fundraising somewhere maybe to get that taken care of for us.
Yeah, it would just be the coding, you know, 'cause it's already been, we kinda faulted and just come in and the car's gotten out there,
Yeah.
you know, peeled out and the other thing, when they painted off the lines, I don't think they're totally correct.
I'm sure it's probably changed some too,
Yeah.
even from now.
But basketball, that's the number one thing. I think it'll always be used, you know.
It'd be nice to get an idea what that is, and so we can kinda maybe,
Well, I could make a phone call tomorrow and find out real quick, you know.
I think it'd be good to find out.
Yeah.
If we can get some type of idea, and that way, when next time we come in, we get an idea, and we can kinda decide if we can.
I know you probably won't be able to get council to approve anything right now, but it would be good to at least be prepared.
Well, if we can get private funding, though,
Oh, well,
we
yes.
wouldn't have to go through the city council.
Yeah.
I think out of all that, the pond's gonna be the hardest, the most expensive.
But I do, well, and that's another one needs to be on our list, so to get
Yeah.
done.
Used to, they said years ago, the Thunderbirds,
Mm-hmm.
they would actually, like, for training, you know, they'd bring, you know, equipment over, but I've been told that was, you know,
Yeah,
probably wouldn't
no.
happen now.
I think they still use them to do stuff, but I don't know about their equipment. But I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
you
this would
use
be
the
like
kids to do
bulldozers.
stuff.
Even when they done it before Eichelberger, I think between the street and guys at the cemetery, the way they took it from Buddy is, or Leo, is most of a summer project. You had to drain it, and cause the street tried it, I guess, but we don't, you gotta have
It's a
a
big-
track
it's a
code.
big
Yeah,
deal.
anything with tires or wheels will just get stuck. And, so that Eichelberger would haul it, and then, like, a lot of it on the creek bank, like behind, just north of the splash pad, I guess that creek bank used to be farther back and drop off. And so a lot of the pond dirt went there, and just different places. There used to be a giant pile at the cemetery. Boy, it was some fertile dirt, but boy, it was trashy, you know? But, yeah.
What's the foundation of the pond supposed to be? Like, down at the very bottom, is it like clay
Well, I
or
don't know if
dirt
there's
or?
an actual thing with the depth. When they done it before, like I was told that, you know, backhoe, 10 foot,
Mm-hmm.
that when he was down in there, you could just see the top.
Right,
And I don't know if he went down to like bedrock or,
yeah.
but, it just needs cleaned out, you know, like,
I'd be curious what that cost is too, so.
but
I
you'd
think
have
we
that
get some budget
soil
stuff.
thing, you'd have to, erosion deal you'd have to do. With the island, while it was drained, the island needs some major work. Anything else we was gonna do, you'd have, you know, and that's why it wasn't gonna be and that's one reason that went forward, kinda, it ended up being a domino effect. We was talking about cleaning it, and well, if we're gonna do this, we gotta do this, and then this. And it turned into,
Well, I think it'd be good to give it an idea, so we kinda have a price on what it would be, so we know how to address
that'd
it.
probably be an engineering thing,
Mhm.
Awesome. Any other things, gentlemen, ladies?
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you, Frank. Dennis, golf court report.
Good evening. Hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. So, golf course is still going strong. Our first 5 months, financially, we're the same as we were last year, which is just a tremendous year. So, we're finishing November up really good. So, winter comes, you never know what's going to happen December, January, and February. So, but anyway, we're on a very good track. Try to maintain that. So, we just finished our last tournament. Last tournament we hosted this year was our Pryor Creek Open. So y'all may have seen some of that on Facebook and stuff. So it was a good event.
So I get a lot of turnout too.
Yeah, had a good turnout. The young man that won it was from Grove, Nathaniel East. So he's our new champion. So it's good. We had 4 different flights. That way, no matter kind of what your range of score that you shoot, is competitive. You know, you can be competitive. So kind of The scores went in the A flight, the second flight was like 87 to 95. The B flight was 99 to 102. And then the C flight was like 105 all the way up. One person shot 143. So, you know, it gives, when you fly it gives everybody a chance to play and be
Right.
competitive amongst people of their own caliber. So it turned out really good. We also hosted the Inola Golf Tournament fundraiser for their golf team, and it went really well. They had 66 people play from Inola, and so that was a really good event. But we don't have anything else scheduled till spring. We're already booking a lot of tournaments in 2024. So if you know of anybody wanting to host one, please let them know. The quicker we do it, the better they can get their dates that they want. If we're wanting to do some kind of a fundraiser or whatever. So, a couple weeks ago, I went to our Oklahoma Turfgrass Research Foundation Conference and Trade Show. It's something I have to go to, or got one of the easier places for me to go, but just so some of y'all know, the city has a license for me to spray, and then I have a license to spray. So that's kind of the way that the Department of Agriculture works, and so in order to maintain my license, I have to go get my continuing education every year. It's on a 5-year roll. So you try to get several CEUs every year, and then at the end of the 5 years, you maintain your license. So that's kind of how that works. But they go over a lot of really good stuff in the turf grass industry. New breeds of turf grass that OSU's developing, other universities are developing. A lot of different chemicals that are coming out. You know, the chemical industry is constantly changing, so we have to stay updated on all that. All kinds of tree issues. You know, there's a lot of tree issues this year, so it's just a real good event that we go to and get updated on staying current on all that material.
Did you pick anything up for our course necessarily, or?
Oh, yeah, yeah. So they had you know, there's like a couple of our greens that struggle. We believe that it's a nematode issue, so they come out with a new nematicide that we're going to add into a fungicide and spray this next summer, and I think it's going to really help those greens. So that's one of our, we've got 4 things that we're going to do differently on those greens to try to help them. You know, they're in a tough area. One of them, I talked to the gentleman that runs Blackjack Ridge over there in Sand Springs. And they went to Bermuda grass, and their municipal golf course almost real similar to us. Their structure is real similar to ours. And Brian Talley is his name. And so I talked to Brian, and as I heard through the grapevine, you know, that they had some fans that they didn't need because they have Bermuda greens now. With Bermuda greens, you don't need those fans blowing around the greens. And so he told me to come over and pick up a couple of them.
That's
so we're
awesome.
gonna add fans down there to it. So we kind of have gotten that. You know, I told him I'd help him out somehow. We'll make, you know, be fair with him on, you know, that giving us a couple $1,000 worth of fans. But you know, there's something we can do to help him. You know, loan him a piece of equipment or something like that. It's gonna be well worth it. So anyway, yeah, we'll be able to get some fans. We're gonna add some different chemicals. So there's just a couple little things like that we're doing different to help our turf grass. Let's see here, anything else? Mayor mentioned about, you know, getting new fuel tanks around the city, and so I'd like to do that at the golf course, and unless somebody has any, are opposed to it, but, you know, I don't think, as long as y'all are good with it.
I was gonna say, did the park get theirs done?
So there's so many benefits to it. I don't know if y'all know the benefits that they come out and fill
It's
them
a
up.
game
I'm not sitting there
changer.
having to wait till we run out and they gotta call.
They're game changers.
Right.
Well,
Price
the
is great.
last fill-up we got was about 248 a gallon, and that was
248.
248 a gallon.
Good Lord, that's
So,
cheap.
and that was, you know, we were still a little higher than we are right now, but, you know,
So do we need to put that on as an agenda item, or?
Is there room in the capital budget or anything for that, or are we gonna be robbing Peter to pay Paul on some of that stuff?
Just come out of my regular, but
Well, I don't think that there's,
cost or anything to it?
no, there's no cost to it.
No,
It's,
so, Agriland, they provide the tanks, they come set them up, any electricity that we've gotta have run to it. Frank, I think you're on a,
We got ours, but it's the cord,
yeah,
because they can't steal the gas if they're so you just run the cord out to it, plug it in, and when you get it, unplug it, and then.
so we had that problem at the cemetery, there was, the gravity tanks, they were
Yeah, then we buy the
Steal it.
gas from them.
right, and so we put the tanks out there, and basically the way they're designed is, it's not a gravity tank, it's a top feed, and so if you cut the power, whether it be install a breaker or whatever, if the power's gone, they're not getting the fuel. But these tanks are nice, they're heavy duty, they're, they don't have to be the same URL rating that the fire station had. So, they've got them on hand, I think they got what, you up and going in 2 weeks? If that-
Yeah, ours, like, quick, they filled it.
I sent a message to Benny Long, and he said, well, I'll get with Frank. Next thing I know, Frank said, oh, they're already there. So, it's almost an immediate, just a follow-up, if you were to talk to the PD guys about the tanks that they're using there, man, they're loving it, And our last fill-up, we kind of looked, Courtney and I were kind of looking at it, and for the PD, for the last several months, we averaged about 8,000 to 11,000, depending on fuel prices. We were, I want to say it was like 6.
it's insane.
Yeah.
So saving about
And that's-
2,000.
What's that?
So you're saving about 2?
2 to 5.
2 to 5, depending on fuel prices, depending on usage.
So if
They
there's,
love it because it's right there, it's ready to go.
so if there's no cost to Frank or us, I don't think that would have to be an agenda item.
No, I just need you guys to say, go ahead and get them hooked up and get
So
it
it
to the
doesn't need to go
council.
to the city council liability or anything
Yeah.
like that.
Make a
Because they're
recommendation.
already,
And
If
they're
there's
already
any issues,
everywhere
take it
else.
to the city council and.
Then we'll put that on unforeseen business, then we'll
If
just.
you remember with Frank, I just asked,
Proceed.
said, are you
Yeah,
guys all
so-
okay with that?
Yep.
And
So we don't-
it's such a cost savings.
Always
I
have-
think we need to send it to
Yeah, I
council, make
agree.
sure that they get that taken care of for you.
The way it's on record?
Yep.
Awesome.
And on number 9, I'll ask you the same thing regarding upcoming projects. I know that one time we had update the bridges. We were going to, write this down, Cart Pass, and what else was there?
He gave us a sheet on here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, we got,
and that's got some of the things on there, but, I mean, kind of our major list is a pickup truck, cause mine's got like 253,000 miles on it.
I,
Bridges,
is there anything,
Just give it to the PD.
what do we need to do to rectify that, Mayor?
I went, oh,
Well, we just make sure he's got the money to get it.
yeah, and
do we know the cost of some of this stuff? Cause we were talking about that last time.
Yeah.
Did you get a feel for some of the bridges and things?
yes, I'm kinda working on that, I'm working on the bridges.
Yeah.
Back to the truck, I'm getting some quotes right now so that I can bring it to you guys
Okay.
next month.
Awesome.
And, so we have to do a state contracting price, and I wanna try to do business local.
Sure,
As much
I
as
don't,
can.
but
I've been talking to all
I
the local
appreciate it.
people, I guess the state contracting price is in Tulsa and Midwest City. So,
Yes, and as much as we'd love to do that and support local,
It's
we
hard
had to go to Ohio to buy a software for our police.
Right.
So we still have to buy what's cheapest.
right, so it's a state contracting
Best
price.
price for the city.
Right.
Our local dealers can't get involved to get that?
They told me they'll try to match if they can.
Yeah, I mean, we go to them every time. and
Well, yeah, sure.
That's what I've been doing, so.
So the opportunity in Ohio presented itself through the network, or whatever you wanna call it. And so we went local, and it just we couldn't get it for that price, so.
The guy told,
Just remember, when you do that, though, there is an out-of-state bidding price. So you have to pay, I think on that one, it was $900 or something like that.
Wow.
the local, one of the local guys told me today is that they lose money if they try to match the state contracting price. They're not really there to lose money.
Which makes 0 sense in
Yeah.
the ballgame, but I get it.
Well, and those state vehicles are, man, they are 2-hour window for the year, and if you're not on the list, you're not getting one.
That's
And-
crazy.
And it's as fast as you go, so that's why a lot of times they'll seek approval to get the PO out there, so that when that window opens, we're already on the list and it's a done deal, and it just, we'll have to look and see.
Well, I definitely think that's important.
And then, anyway, I'm working on that, trying to get some numbers, so I'll at least be able to can approach you and say, hey, we need to buy a pickup truck, it's gonna roughly cost this amount of money, and we know what's gonna be out of the budget.
Refresh my memory on, we had some money set aside, or we held it set aside
Yeah.
for car paths, and I've forgotten what that was.
Yeah, well, I mean, we set aside $50,000, but it's all in our fund,
Right,
so our fund, I don't have the exact numbers as of this month.
but 50,000 of that's earmarked for paths.
Right.
Okay.
And we get 25 from the Cherokees when we do the cart pass also.
So
So
that's
75.
75.
Right.
Okay.
So we got 75 set for there. The bridges, I had talked to, the city engineer, and they're supposed to be getting back with me on, as long as it's okay, for the mayor or myself to sign a PO for, what I'd like to do is get a quote on how much it's gonna cost to get some plans for the bridges. My idea, when I look at all those bridges, I mean, they're almost all the same, except for just a little bit difference in distances. They can almost build, except for one bridge, they can build one set of plans, and then we can just take that one set and make
Whatever
4 or 5
changes,
bridges.
yep.
Right, and just the length may change a little bit, just shorter, get it where it's built good enough for the longest span. So I'm trying to get, in contact with him and get him the numbers, and he hasn't got back with me yet, but,
Is that something that our, Elite Manufacturing could build for us?
yeah, there's a lot of people that can do that. Sherry talked about having somebody pay for it. Elite, I've already talked to Elite, they can build it, they just need a set of plans.
Okay.
The Votech, they can build it, they just need a set of plans, and they said they could probably build it and install it, depending on how many, we did. But, so we've got some means of doing it, I just need a set of plans, and last time I talked to Steve Powell before he left, it was about $1,700 to get a set of plans. That was his ballpark, but, so, I think the city engineer's Dale Burke. And so I'm just waiting for him to give me a quote back on what a set of plans would cost. They already have them, supposedly they just need to modify them to fit our needs.
Change what the requirements are?
And then, cause I'd like to get those bridges done by the end of February.
That'd be
to have
nice.
them, cause I just don't think once we get a set of plans, I think we can move pretty fast with them.
You're thinking if we get a set of plans, we can get sponsors for those bridges?
Mhm. So, I think there's a big chance we can get somebody to pay for building them, whether the Votech builds them, Elite builds them, or another company that wants to sponsor them, builds them themselves. There's some of those people that may just build them themselves. So, that's kind of the bridge plan.
Sounds good, like
All
it.
right, then we need cart pass, like I said, the cart pass, we need to get that action going, but I wanna get the bridges in there first, and then we're ready to go to the cart pass, and that's just a matter of probably having the engineer come out and doing bids on them, and saying, this is how much money we got, this is how far we can go. Get the first 9, the worst 9 cart pass done, or we'll do 12, whatever, however far our money goes. So after cart pass, we still need to replace the house out there. The house has not been replaced yet. We need to redo that. And that's just, probably buying a $40,000-$50,000 trailer house and putting it in there. That's what our plan has been. And then there's some equipment that I'll need, so we have a list of that.
Well, in the parking lot, at some point, we need to address too.
Yeah, well, the parking lot's in part of the cart pass. That's a
Okay.
cart path plan, that's part of the
Okay.
cart path plan, absolutely, yeah, failed to mention that. Yeah, the cart pass, parking lot, all around the pro shop, all that would be resurfaced. And we may have to do that in phases, I don't know, until we accumulate enough money, but this year, if this year finishes off like last year, we're gonna have more money to deal with, so may have enough to do it all. And, there's also, if if we get close, there's probably some other people we can go out and talk to try to maybe solicit donations from, say, hey, we just need a little bit more, we can have it all done, you know? So that's one of the plans there. And then all this paperwork, you know, I had her put it in your packet, you know, is things that we'll be doing this winter. And you can see, we're gonna do a little bit of bridge work, some approaches that we need to fix right now, a little concrete here, a few things there. But this is just kind of a plan of most of all of this. Bridges, you know, we have a lot of tree work that we'll do at the golf course. FEMA, you know, cleaned up the trees, we got a lot of stumps. So we still have the stumps we have to deal with. I have to cut them down, grind them, different ways that we'll deal with the trees and stumps. A lot of tree trimming. And I have a tremendous amount of trees at that golf course, and you know, we have to keep them trimmed up so our guys can mow around them. So that's a winter project that is just goes on and on and on.
Never stops.
Yeah, we have irrigation work that we'll be doing. That's just constant, you know, have a few leaks that we constantly fix. And one of the biggest things on the irrigation or pump station that I want to do is we've cleaned that tank down there. We have a tank down there. I don't know if y'all have ever been down there. If you want to come down, it's really a neat place. But
It is. It's huge.
we've cleaned that tank out, and what I'd like to do is make our pump station area better and easier for us to work on. So right now, we have 3 60-horse motors that's with pumps that sit out in the river. And if the plan would be to take a small pump water into that tank, if the tank will hold water, so that's our next phase. We've got it cleaned out, we've got to put a pump in the river, pump water in the tank, see if it holds water. If it doesn't, is it worth fixing or not? You know, depending on how much trouble it is to make it hold water. But if we can get it to hold water, I can put my big pumps in the tank. Put a small pump in the river to replenish the tank, and then suck water out of the tank to the golf course. It'll be a lot easier. It'll make our motors last longer. Right now, the motors that we have, they horizontal in the river. They're on a slight angle, but not much. But they're vertical pumps and motors. They work best if they're straight up and down. They'll last a lot longer. So it's crazy how much longer they'll last. Right now, we replace them every 3 or 4 years, but they're gonna last a lot longer being vertical. Plus, it's a lot easier for us, when a motor goes out, it's easier for us to take the backhoe, pull it out, put a new one in. It's a simple process. Right now, when a motor goes out on that skid and it's out in the river, we've gotta bring that whole skid up in, take the old motors out, put new motors in. It's about a 2-week process at best.
Wow.
Or it could go down to a 1-day
Well,
process.
we were down one time for a while, remember?
Yeah, if we have to do it a lot, it could be 3 or 4 weeks, easy. And the weather affects that. Could be even longer when we have bad weather. So if this little plan works, it's gonna be a big benefit to us. Tom Craig at Polypros offered to help us do all this at a no-cost deal.
That's awesome.
So, the only cost we're out of is just our time got the tank cleaned out. Now we'll pump it full of water. If we have to patch a little bit, we'll patch a little bit, and then from there, it won't hardly cost us anything, and it's gonna be well worth the money, so. That's a big project. I'm hoping to have that project done before spring so that we can actually, as long as that tank,
Utilize it.
we can start using it, and, be a big benefit to us.
Are there any areas out there that you would like to expand your irrigation to?
We did last year, and that was through Tom. He donated all of his time, and we expanded the irrigation on hole 12 to the left side over there. We added 8 sprinklers over there. We added a couple of sprinklers on tee boxes, one on 4 tee box, one on 8 tee box, one behind 10. And one at the nursery, so we added 12 sprinklers altogether last year.
Okay.
And so we're really in pretty good shape, but I'd like to get that pump station where it's easier to work on. So, any other questions on any of that part? The lagoon, it's always a job to get in there and clean that lagoon. We gotta keep the weeds down, so we'll get in there and one of the guys thought it'd be easier just to burn off all them weeds in that lagoon, but we've gotta get in there and that's a winter project we do. I wanna remodel one of the restrooms on hole 15. It really needs to be updated in there, so we're gonna be, I've got a guy that works for us. As long as he's able to work, he's a really good remodeler. He can do all that stuff, just keeping him there. So, then of course, you know, we'll be spraying all of our weeds. We do a lot of weed control. I wanna paint the exterior of the pro shop. I got another guy that, he actually worked at, the bus plant in Tulsa, and he really good painter, so he can do a lot of good painting for us. So, pro shop building needs painted, bathrooms out there need painting. So, on a nursery, I wanna replace the seed bed on that and create a new nursery. So it's a matter of tearing out all that old soil, bringing in new sand and reseeding it. I got, one of our chemical guys was gonna donate the seed for it. He says, we got this new bent grass seed, it's supposed to be really good. He said, I'm gonna donate it to you if you wanna put it on there, so. Anyway, so that's a good thing. Only thing it'll cost us is just sand and time getting it out of there. It's a lot of work to redo an area like that, but just labor mainly. Of course, we'll spray all of our fairways, tees, roughs. I'll spray the baseball fields, softball fields, soccer fields. I'll do all that this winter, usually around February. And there's kind of a list of all the equipment that we service every winter. This stuff gets serviced every winter. Real tight mowers have to be taken apart, grinded, and you grind them with a grinder, and then you put new bed knives on them. They cut like a pair of scissors, and so it's a big process to.
So since we bought that new mower, that real mower,
The fairway one?
Mhm.
Yeah.
what has been your take since we've had it, we've had it over a year?
Oh, man, it's wonderful. It's just wonderful. Yeah, I love it.
Whenever we went to buy it, it was all kinds of, that's expensive, your
Oh,
blade, the time it takes to take care of it is,
Oh, it's negligible. I mean, it's just crazy. You know, we do the regular maintenance, keeping it greased and fluids changed. You know, we do all the regular maintenance, but that thing is a workhorse. It is a time saver. Alan puts a lot of hours on it, but man, you can just work, go, and there's no downtime. It's been well worth the money.
I think some of the equipment upgrades we have done has shown tremendous amounts of value in doing that.
Yes, you know, we got top-rate equipment, and it pays for itself. You know, you buy cheap stuff, you're working on it all the time. You know, so.
I've not heard you come and say, well, I've gotta go buy this, I gotta go buy that. And there for a couple of years, we was always had to buy something.
Repair, yeah, exactly, just repair bills out the roof. But no, that equipment is, been a blessing for us, it really has, saves, you know, cause you have to spend a lot of time working on your equipment, you're not out there mowing.
True.
And, you know, when you're not out there mowing, that grass grows in a hurry. So, and we don't have a lot of equipment. There's a lot of golf courses that will have 3 of those. We have 1, right? So, you know, it runs a lot. You can't afford to be down with equipment when you have it.
So besides your fall improvement list that you're doing, the same question I asked Frank, I'll ask you. On a 5-year plan, what would be your 5-year plan of what needs to be done? What's your top priority of list of things you would like to get done? And what's out there to where, if you was, you know, we had just to go over again, you know, we identified the basketball court for Frank is probably a lot higher priority on the list than we probably thought it would be. On your list, if you were, because I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah.
What type of 5-year plan would you like to see, and what is something out there that maybe besides cart pass, because we all agree that cart pass
Bridges,
and
cart
bridges
pass, the trail,
are
right.
a necessity, what else out there is it that we're missing that we need to look at to invest?
Golf carts. That's gonna be, been
That's an
talking to those
expense.
guys, and golf carts are are a big issue because, it's just
Lead
like-
times aren't getting any better on them.
No, the times, you've gotta get on the list and hope you have them within a year and a half or so. You
Mhm.
know, it's crazy.
How many years on these carts?
5,
Four.
4,
So
we financed them.
Right, so
So,
they'll be paid off a year, before years, in about 10 months, before years, so it's a little over 3 years right now.
the first ones, we went how many years? 10?
Went 8, and that was
8.
too far.
They were
We
wore
need to
out.
go somewhere between 5 and 6. Now, the other thing about, these are better golf carts, but the usage last 2 years, is going to start, this will be third year, is really up on them.
So how long do we have to pay for these yet? How long?
10 months?
I think it's October of '24, they're paid off.
And then if we're really not ready, are we gonna kinda rat hole that money to help us?
Yes,
Just kinda-
100%.
Instead, you're not making a payment, you're gonna put it over here, and it's
Right.
gonna help you buy those when you get to that point?
Yes. I'd like to run them one
Fund it?
to 2 years at the most, but even running them 1 year, you're looking at, middle of next summer trying to get them on order. If it takes a year and a half to get them.
Plus, technology-wise, we're still running gas. And
Right.
is it now to the point to where we go to a lithium cart
Yeah,
and
this-
see what the run times are, and will it pay for it? Because the lithium cart is gonna be more expensive.
They're more expensive, they're
Right.
8 years guaranteed on the batteries now on lithium carts, that's
Oh, the
getting
lithium
way
car?
over 8 years, so that's a
That's
long
nice.
battery.
Charging
life.
times are,
But when you get done with them, I don't know what the if you keep it 7 years, you only got 1 year on the battery, I don't know what the resale value's gonna be. Gas carts always got a good resale because 7-year-old
It's
gas
not
cart
expensive.
still runs.
but at the end of the time, is it something we talk about doing leases and?
Right.
I think,
So that's gonna be like, within the next 8 months, we probably need to be having those discussions.
I think it would be good to at least get some type of idea where we think we're going with the golf
Right,
carts.
so golf carts, because that is our #1 revenue right there is golf carts.
Absolutely.
We make our money renting golf carts.
So what else out there?
So,
Lighting anywhere? Is there
Hmm?
lighting anywhere that you feel like would be better improved, or safety somewhere, or?
the lighting is really pretty good. They're coming out. I've already talked, and we've replaced all of our lights out there, our security lights with LEDs, and that makes a big
Oh,
difference.
yeah, it does.
So there's one more that they gotta replace, and I think the guy will be out tomorrow to talk to me about, and they're only like $175. We buy one little light deal, and it's crazy what it does, so. But we're in good shape there. Another thing that it would be a big help would be, the lagoon.
Mhm.
I'd like to see it go away. I just think it's a nightmare out there, but
What do we need it for?
the restrooms,
Lagoon?
for the restrooms up at the pro shop. Now,
Could we not put in a aerobic system?
that's exactly what I wanna do, is an aerobic. And so then you can do away with
We could-
I've got all the room in the world to put the aerobic sprinklers in on the driveway.
Exactly right, that's exactly right.
So that's where that can go real easily. And I don't think it's a huge cost. I don't know what aerobic system will cost, $12,000 or something like that, 15. But,
When the lagoons go away.
getting a lagoon to go away would be a
Gives you
huge
more
bigger
area.
cost. Because now you're dealing with the EPA to have it hauled away or
Mhm. DEQ to deal with
Yeah.
it.
Is it very
Let's
expensive?
say
to
DEQ and all that
repurpose
would be
DEQ, right,
involved.
so, but it's a one-time cost. You do it, and get rid of it, and it's gone. And then you've got a better driving range, better place to practice. And it cleans that whole corner up down there, and you don't have to deal with all the inspections you have with the lagoon. We've had beaver in the lagoon last year, had to deal with him, so it's a headache that goes away by doing that, so that.
In a perfect world,
Mhm.
if you had, if, and I don't want anybody to go, what are you saying? in a perfect world, and money is not our issue, how important would it be to have a nice pro shop within the area for a restaurant
Huge.
and entertainment? How much more money do you feel it would add to the value of the golf course and bring up the standards of the golf course?
Kinda
It
like
would
a country club.
change everything.
Kind of like a country club or something.
Yes, well, it changed
Not making
everything
country.
because a lot of people say the golf course is the living room of the community. And so if you have a place for people to come out and you've got a nice facility, you know, you can do all kinds of meetings, you can do weddings, you know, you can have social dinners. It becomes a great place for people to congregate. You have all kinds of bigger tournaments, you know, the tournaments become bigger. You have your banquets after the tournament, which, you know, we're kind of, we don't have
We
any.
don't, we do it.
Weather's bad, we're in trouble,
Have it outside.
right? Yeah, we have to have it outside, and if weather's bad, we're in trouble. But-
Do you have enough room to do anything?
Oh, yeah, that's where the new plan, like I said, would be to put in a road up behind number 1 on top of the hill by 13. We've got all these plans basically outlined. The road goes in there behind 13, you put a new clubhouse up there, nice parking lot, you know, you do it all right, you have, build a nice teaching area and driving range up there where you got plenty of room. And so that,
What would that cost, you figure? At one time, we had a figure, and I don't remember what
yeah,
it was.
you know, to building a road, I don't know cost on building a road quite, but, you know, you're probably looking at somewhere between 10, 12 million. You know, it's,
But there's not room where the existing facility is to expand that into any type of.
we're landlocked there, it's
Yeah,
really
it's
tough.
just pretty tight.
Yeah, it's
That's
just,
what I was
everything's so
thinking, it's
tight,
pretty tight.
yeah.
Uh,
Unless you change some things around somehow, and I'm not sure how you do that, but there's, you know, you'd have to revamp a lot of things up there to create more room. For example, you'd have to get rid of number 1 tee, you know, move it maybe further east, move the green further east. There's some things you could probably do like
no,
that,
not
and then
the
that gives
green.
you a lot.
Make the tee further east, but not the green.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Makes
Move the
it
green
shorter
further
hole,
west?
but-
Just make it a par 3.
You didn't see my,
Get across the creek.
you didn't see my
There you
post
go.
today. Where,
Yeah.
for, you know, it's a
Yeah.
par 4 for some people, and it's a par 5 for seniors.
Yeah, something like that.
But
So-
yeah, so ideally, with no money, I put in a clubhouse, all up there on top of the hill, start people on hole 13 or 4, 4 could be the starting hole,
I see what you're saying.
13 would be number 10, whatever. You play the
Then
same
one would come back
rotation.
9.
Play the same rotation, just start and stop in a different place. Yeah, finishing up on 12, and you could, you know,
That's, I see what you're doing.
so.
So, value-wise, if that could get in place, you feel like you would keep it rented out for different
Oh, yeah,
types of events. It would dramatically change
dramatically,
our golf course as
Whole
far
complex.
as the way it looks.
yeah.
We modernized it.
And, you know, with that in mind, you know, if you ever got to that point, there's so much land up there, we got 460 acres land leased. There's no end to what you could add to that. I mean, you could add pickleball courts up there, you could do whatever in the world you wanted, any kind of park style stuff you wanted to do up there. Trails,
Who's-
everything, it's just, you
who's-
know.
If you was gonna model it after a course locally, what would it be like then, if you was gonna look at that type of facility?
So that's a great question. The ideal situation would be something like Shangri-La. There's
Agreed.
27 holes. There's 27 holes works great. You'd end up adding, and we've been down this with several people. 27 holes is a magic number. You could actually build more holes out there because you got plenty of room. Remodeling the existing 18, bringing it up to scale with the competition. And so 27 holes would be the ideal, clubhouse, cart building, all that redone up there on top of the hill.
When you say on top of the hill, where is that exactly?
13 tee box, east of 13 tee box.
Okay.
It's the highest place on the property,
Okay.
pretty much so.
I know you all are probably thinking, man, that sounds like a lot of money.
No.
But if you go look at,
Have a drink.
if you, but
Yeah.
if you don't look at other golf courses within a 50-mile radius, we pull, Stringer Law is private, unless you know somebody that you can
Right.
get you on.
Right. And
I mean, there's so many private
Codes,
courses,
right.
there's so many private courses around us that if you look at the amount of people that come play our golf course, it's insane how far they travel.
how far they travel,
And if we would just update,
yeah.
modernize even more, I can't imagine we wouldn't keep, not just what you're gonna do, if you have an event out there, I mean, what another nice place to go have a Christmas party, but
Exactly.
Right.
when you think about
You know,
places that the city of
Wedding.
Pryor places the city of Pryor has for that type of event, you're limited to that number of places. If you look at outside people that does weddings and stuff, that's why the Moors, both of those farms are booked, and the one in Salinas, but that's why they're so booked, because there's nothing in the city of Pryor that
A
has
lot
that.
of companies doing their company
Exactly.
parties, Mid-America's and other.
there's a lot of nice golf courses that, I mean, that's what they do. They do a lot of weddings there. It's just a nice place to have a wedding.
It would be interesting to me to kind of see what that would look like. I know that, that's a big, tall number, and I do agree with that. It is a big, tall number, but I think, just like I asked Frank, that's why I asked you, tell me what you would like to see out there, because if we never grow or we never put anything in action, we're gonna get the same people come up here every year, hey, we're gonna do this in the park here, okay. Next,
Right.
pickleball, whenever you brought up pickleball, that's the perfect synopsis of what changes, cause I can tell you when we started, Frank was like, what, I have to look at, and this was 2 years ago. And look where we are now, we're talking about adding more, we have added more, and it's like, what else are we missing out there in the community that we're not achieving from our board? And that's why I think, that's why I had Jay put it on this was, and I didn't want I didn't want something prepared from y'all. I wanna know what you're thinking and what you would like to see, because we have to have some type of roadmap to be able to go and say, this is our 5-year mission plan or 5-year plan we would like to see for the golf course. This is our 5-year plan we wanna see for parks. This is our 5-year plan we wanna see for the swimming pool. We should be able to have that conversation and know where are we at in our plan, where are we at in our funding for our plan, what do we need to do to move the ball forward?
So I have plans on all that. We even have clubhouse plans that we spent countless hours on, figuring out.
On East of 13, all that you're
Correct.
talking about.
Cause there's
You
not
know,
enough room where we're at.
Where are the plans at?
They're at the golf course.
Would it
I'll get
hurt to
all
have
y'all
them look
set
at
of plans. I'll get you.
I think it would be
start.
good. I think it would.
Now, and this may be, you can only hear $10 million, oh, wow. But, you gotta have a dream somewhere, you gotta start, you gotta start big. It'd be nice to see those plans, and maybe even there's a discussion, I don't wanna play the grandiosis down, but, if that's a long-term plan, it's gonna take, and we say it's gonna take a long time to get there, well, maybe there's an interim we can do to enhance what he has to deal with right now that could be impactful as well.
Exactly right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Exactly right.
Well, if you don't have a plan, you don't know where you're going.
But treat it as an interim, not the end result. and
Exactly.
therefore, kind of do it in a way that's a little more
I'll get all you-
feasible, because it's not gonna have long-term, because our long-term's here.
Exactly. I think we have to have some starting point to achieve what we need. And I think if we get people invested, well, this is what we're doing, and just like you said, start it. I can't imagine people won't go, did you see what they're doing in the golf course? And they're gonna do this. I mean, there's enough population that the golf is still growing, and Live Golf was a great thing, in my opinion,
Yep.
that they added, because you can't, if nobody went to one of those, it is the best time you'll ever have. They play live music, there's music playing all over the golf course, people are partying, and it was completely different than going and watch a PGA tournament compared to that. But you know what? The people at the Live tournament, they are ecstatic, they are the golfers of all of us that go out and hack and, you know, they just wanna have a good time. And I think that is gonna grow and people are interested in that type of atmosphere. They wanna be outside.
100%. That woke up the PGA Tour.
It did. It made them
Rightfully
right
so.
fast.
Rightfully so. They
Right
did.
fast. Well, they bought them
Yeah.
for a reason.
Yeah.
So I think it would be interesting to kind of see that, and I think it'd be good for us, try to get some ideas of what we need to do to try to get funding. What do we need to do? Who do we need to go talk to for us? And, you know, with everything going on with Mid-American Industrial Park, that's right in their wheelhouse of, you know, go entertain somebody. Let's go up to the, let's go to the golf course and go, you know, go up to the restaurant and blah, 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 blah. What a perfect opportunity to visit with them and say, we need some help.
Yep.
And see about getting maybe sponsors that would be willing, I mean, free, you know, trade off, you know, advertising for them for,
Well, there's a lot
For
of
some
golf
kind
courses around, and most of them all have better facilities. But there's a lot of golf courses around, and not a lot of them have better courses.
That is
Right.
correct.
That's true.
Okay, So,
That's a good statement.
Sand Springs over there, they just spent, I think, $4 million on their clubhouse.
where's that at?
Sand
Sand
Springs.
Springs.
And
Look at Claremore, even Claremore's, I mean, that thing is old as Methuselah,
it
but
used to be really
it's
bad.
really nice.
and then they
Golf,
spent
of course, is terrible, but,
about 3
and they
million.
struggled.
3 million on the golf course and about 3.5 or something like that on the clubhouse renovation, something like that. They spent about 6.5 million.
I just think it'd be good for us to, that's something that we really need as a group to kind of
You're
look
right.
at.
I'll get you all the plans that we have up to date, that way you'll see
Yeah, Love
where
to
we
see it.
started, where we came from.
Plan a vision.
I have a vision board out there, yep, sure do.
That's awesome. Any other questions for Dennis while he's up here? Awesome. Thank you, Dennis.
All right, I'll get you all that information, thank you.
Um,
Be sure and like us on Facebook, right, they keep sharing, Instagram, whatever, social media, we're probably out there, so.
I thought I heard you say earlier in another meeting about a Christmas idea for membership dues.
Yeah, Christmas special, I did have that on my list there, Christmas special, I plan on doing the same thing we did last year, it went really good, so, as long as nobody has any problem with that, we'll do the same Christmas special we did last year.
For bringing that up, that brings up a question I have. Membership wise, we're still doing well,
Yes, yep.
not dropping any,
I mean, we always are dropping a few, people move,
right?
can't afford it no more, but we're replacing them as we drop them too. So,
That
What's
is
the
so-
Christmas special?
what we did last year, we offered, like $460 worth of free stuff,
Okay.
I throw in a range card of about $70. We added maybe, I think we did 13 months for 12 months. We gave away the card to bring a friend. That works really good.
Does.
You always bring somebody, they have to pay for the card, so that, you know, even though you bring a guest once a month, they're paying for the card. Sometimes they bring more than one guest, and only, you know, only one of them gets it free, so they're bringing extra people. So that little card was worth quite a bit.
I think the monthly
Monthly,
payment deal
right.
has been,
It's still growing, right.
everybody will do that because it's a lot easier to bite that part of that out. They can figure that in their budget.
Right, $56 a month, $60 a month, you know, you get, you know,
When you go out there to sign on there, you can see how many is, you know, that do it, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, golly,
yeah.
it's insane.
Yeah. So it's a really good deal.
Awesome.
So when is that going to affect?
You know, usually we do it December 1st.
Okay.
We kind
My
of.
membership's up, that's why.
Yeah,
I had a feeling that was.
Finish it.
just bring us your checkbook.
It's all
Late
in
check.
my-
I'm gonna get the
We'll
deal.
fix you right up.
Get the deal.
Get the deal.
But, yeah, you'll see that coming out, and so like it and share it, spread the word, because, you know, bringing in revenue this time of year is a big help for us. And, you know, it just grows our base. Bigger our base is, the better we're gonna do.
Awesome.
And the other thing that, Houston Britton asked me to bring some carts up to the Christmas parade, so long as
Oh,
nobody
yeah.
reservations, I'll bring some up. We did it on the veterans, and so I'll bring, he
How many
only
did he
needed
ask?
2 or so.
2,
We did 8 for the veterans, and
I would probably do 4.
for the Christmas parade.
Yeah, cause, that's
Bring them up.
one of the boards I sit on is the
Somebody always.
chamber, well, I sit on the chamber board, I already know, it's an all-day deal, we start 11, we go to 8, I think,
All right,
that
I'll
night.
get you 4 of them up here. Now, just so, since you're on the board, I was gonna tell Houston, it works really good for us to put them behind the police station.
That'd be great.
And y'all-
That's usually where we store the cars too.
Okay, go get them whenever you need them.
For some reason, they won't steal a car at a police station. I have no idea why.
All right. If I
Awesome,
can answer any
thank
other questions, or anybody wants to come out, feel free to come out, show you around.
Awesome. Thank you, Dennis. Frank, we're gonna do the pool task force, and then we only got 2 left. You can come up for a second. Me and Frank sits on the board with us, and I can give you a brief discussion. We've had some conversations on the pool. I don't think there's anybody that's come out yet and give us the final, we have no final totals of what it's gonna be. There's several things that they're working on, so I can tell you that we don't meet again to a January something.
And they approved the Swanson house.
Yeah, we approved the Swanson house, which is good.
What's
I
the
would,
Swanson house?
they are a private company that their whole job is to find funding for the pool. And listening to them, the money they raise, they're really good at what they do. I'll put it to you that way. They know the ins and outs, and you pay for their service. They have a list that they will get. They feel like, from my understanding, they got a pretty good indication. They know where the majority of their money's coming from, and they feel
come in,
really
what is it,
comfortable.
Do like the feasibility test and then let you know, and then from there you know, it's
So
your
we're familiar
choice
with other
if you keep
people
with
that
them.
use them.
Oh, they have a laundry list of people that uses them. It's not small, it's a lot, and it's quite interesting to see how they do it, but they have a very good feel for it.
Good.
And,
That's probably the biggest obstacle, get those things settled out, the rest of things will fall into place, I think.
I was in a private meeting, for, opportunities for different places to put the pool. I know that, there is some properties that we can have. We can secure them pretty good, I would say. I can't say at liberty where they're at just because it's not been official. Depending on what the drawing is, it's gonna be pretty good size though. I mean, it's gonna take a lot of property. Nothing but I can't tell you how positive and how fast it's gone. We went from talking about it to securing somebody to help us with the financial part of it and helping us figure that out, to we're waiting on drawings and a couple other things. So it's moving at a fast rate, but it is, everything that the city wants, and I think it will. I feel confident, and I don't know how you feel. I feel pretty confident though.
This task.
I don't think that the city is gonna put any money out to take care of it. I would say that I feel that much
Because
comfortable.
that was part of the other thing that Swanson brought up,
Mhm.
was not only donations towards it, but there's enough for maintenance even
Yep.
for a few years after it. You know,
They figured that much into it already.
Yeah.
So they feel, and I feel comfortable even saying that I think that they're going to secure the funding. So, the city of Pryor, if all works well like it should, it's gonna be a game changer for Pryor in this area. It truly will be a game changer, because, you know, one of the things that we're discussing on the task force is what they're doing in Veneta. At the end of the day, the likelihood of any of us going up there more than a couple of times a year is not very grand. I mean, I haven't been back to Branson in 4 years now. But how often do you need to go to Branson? How often do you go to Branson? Some people go 3 or 4 times a year.
Yeah.
And then some people only go, you know, once or twice, you know, so whenever you think about it, that's gonna be the same thing. Well, how many local people are gonna go that many times to Veneta, Oklahoma to go do that? Probably not very likely, but they'll come to a water park like ours several times. First off,
not Muskogee, Wagner's, we've gone to Wagner's several times, just because it's better quality than.
That's kind of what we found out on the task force is they want somewhere to go locally to,
That they don't have to drive all the way to Tulsa. or-
they don't wanna drive all the way to Tulsa, and they don't wanna go, they wanna stay local to do it. And it's not just Pryor, it's Mays County, and that was part of this task force was Adair, Salina, Locust, Shodo.
I think, they don't come up that often, but I think Claremore, you'll get a bunch from Claremore.
Yeah.
And with that new 20 going around Claremore, they probably have alienated enough of their citizens, they'll probably come visit us a little bit more. But that's some of the stuff we've learned. It's not just what Pryor wants, the other communities are asking for the same thing, so the community support is just not Pryor. It's several communities that wants to be a part of this, which is a big undertaking from years past. Because when you think about it, the closest pool was here and Veneta and Claremore, or,
Yeah.
I mean,
That's it.
it was long ways in between, and so to have that type of quality entertainment and local is gonna be really, really nice, but we found some very interesting stuff doing this, and it's been, for me, it's been like, wow. And we have a very broad range of people on the board too, so it's not, age-wise, I mean, you could throw a dart, there's not one specific group. There's multiples, and everybody comes from different facets of the industry, so it really is interesting to see. And I know from your standpoint, whenever they said they was finding funding to take care of them for a couple of years, it was Frank like, yes. Because it's important to us, because that's a huge expense, but I think it's gonna be well worth the cities. And I think it's gonna be, it'll be a nice trophy to have, or a nice piece to the city to have to go, this was done. And it started from discussion that happened on this board to where it got to a task force, and now it's this, so we all should be proud of some of the stuff that's going forward. But I wanted to put that up there because, there's a lot going on, and it's going quick. And I can't tell you how quick it's moving, but it is. Exactly. It's went from, what are we gonna do about it, to we're already to getting drawings, and we're talking about the funding of it, and it has moved fast. And they're still saying 2025, I think, is the project date to have people in water.
Really?
Oh,
So is
quick
this,
when you think about it, because I know how long it takes for construction, so.
Yep.
That's
so
pretty
is this
quick.
fundraising company something that we could think about for the golf course?
Absolutely. That's exactly right. We would be, doing ourselves no favors by not talking to them. I will say that, because I will tell you, it is more than impressive. They build YMCA's, built a huge one, I forget where they was talking about it, but I mean, it's a big YMCA. But they do this for lots of counties, or towns, not just, Iowa, Kansas. I mean, they go everywhere to do this, and it's a great alternative to taxes and stuff like that. And because not every city is, can afford a penny or a third of a penny or whatever you want to do, and they find the money for a lot of that. But you are right, for the golf course, what a great thing to. That's a great idea.
Let's keep that in the back of our mind.
I think exactly right. I think that's
Once we get this done,
right. What the pitfalls are, what we learned, what we didn't, and I think you're right. I think that should be our next project, should be, okay, now we're gonna do this here. And I think we should always keep that in our mind. What else? That's the reason why, kind of the reason behind, what's a want list? What's your wish list? Because at the end of the day, if we don't have any vision of where we're going,
And a lot
we're
of,
not doing anything.
like you said, this task force has been a big, stand just a regular city of Pryor, I mean.
Like this,
Yeah.
nothing against us, it's just a wide, great ideas.
Yeah.
I know, I mean, sometimes you're like, I didn't think about that, and they'll go, well, what about this?
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. But I'm glad you said that. I
Maybe
mean,
we need to make think about a task force for Dennis's vision out there.
I think at some point, maybe, I think that is a good idea. I do think that's a good idea.
Cause it seems like that helps perpetuate the process starting and getting going.
I think it is a good idea.
Yeah. You're talking about huge
Jake, can you put that down
challenges
as
like
a,
that.
and get with, the mayor and kind of see what the outlines are on that is, cause I have no idea. Cause this one is done by, Adam.
Yeah, Adam and Mike, man, you
Man.
gotta admit, them two,
They are workhorses on that deal.
Adam's been my right-hand man for a long time.
He's a
Band
he's a great guy. He's the one that took over for me at the soccer club, and
Yeah.
it just got to be too much. But that'll be a good deal. But I do think we need a 5-year plan but not just. I mean, this task force for the swimming pool is going to be a game changer for the park. I mean, even for Frank, that's going to be a whole new ball game just for us to take care of, even for us up here. And then for the golf course, you know, what a better way to go sell that as a project and really showcase that. And it could all be done from what started at the pool. Now we've flipped it to here to take care of that. I think that's a great idea. Awesome. Thank you for talking about that with me.
Because I was sitting next to you, it was bleeding off on me.
Anybody have anything? We're at an unforeseen business at number 10. Anybody have any unforeseen business we need to visit with? None here, not seeing none. I make a motion for number 11 to adjourn, please. Huh?
How much-
Do we have to, that was what we say. We didn't do it on the last one for the, for you, did we?
it's just kind of.
We just said
Ask for
There's a question.
approval, it's just.
about the
Gas
golf
tank.
course, the gas tank.
Do we have to make a motion
Are
to
are we
send it to
gonna pass
the
that
park,
on
or
to
to
the
the
council, just so they're aware of it, and if there's any issues that go
Well,
along
let's just put it
outside?
in and for unforeseen business at number 10, just, discussion for approval from city council on gas tanks for the golf course.
Okay, so are you making the motion?
I don't think we need to make a motion because it's not an actual, agenda item. I just think we just make note of it in our minutes that,
Right, because the mayor said they didn't have to have approval from the council for that, because it's not costing anything.
right, there's no cost
He
associated
said as
with
long
it.
as
I just
we're
think is there's some type
I'm
of,
thinking awareness would be
verbiage.
would be prudent
Didn't
at
you
the
list
council.
it under just mayor's report on, when you done that?
Yeah,
Yeah, it'll be on the council agenda. That wouldn't be any problem. I don't really, there's,
technically we
No,
do because
we
there's no
just
cost.
recommend it.
We just recommend it.
yeah, if you voted on it tonight, it would just be recommending it to the council. It would still go to the agenda either way. It's just
I'll make
how
a
I
motion
would
to
note it on the
recommend
minutes.
the tanks at the golf course,
So,
project, okay?
so there's my
To the city
first.
council.
Are you-
Second,
Who? I'm sorry for the second.
Pam did.
Ron's first, me second.
I guess we'll do a roll call for it, please.
Oh, you, Graybill,
yes.
Reeser,
Yes.
Buffington,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Yes.
sorry, Shelby.
Can't hurt, can it?
No, so it's all legal.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Number 11.
I make a motion, we're adjourned.
Pam first. Somebody second, please.
I'll second.
Awesome. Ray Bill second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, guys. I know it's a little bit longer, but there was a couple things I wanted to get to there.
Great discussion. Good discussion. Great discussion.